Hello again, welcome back to Neil Oliver Live. The theme of tonight's show is proposed changes to our lives the government is hardly going out of its way to let us know about. First, we looked at fluoride in drinking water, which will be a surprise to many. Next up, plans to give us all a digital ID. The question is, what would it mean for the way we lead our lives? Critics of digital ID say we're potentially looking at nothing less than a digital prison. Joining me now is Sandi Adams, who has been researching the topic for several years. Sandi, hello.
Hello, Neil.
Good to see you. How all-encompassing is the proposed digital ID that's being discussed?
Well, it's very, very. It's almost like a control mechanism, if you like. I mean, without being too dramatic about it, this really is it's a means of collecting data by your digital ID. Your digital ID is your face, really. Your facial recognition will unlock everything that you need to access, goods and services, bank accounts, whatever. And we're about to enter the zero trust world. And that is really quite scary because you're treated as a criminal before you've actually unlocked your computer, looked at your emails. So
the assumption is that you are a baddie.
You're a baddie.
Until you prove that you are in fact a goodie.
Exactly. You have to prove that you are, guilty, before the trial. So, and that zero trust world really... it means that you, in order to access all these goods and services and everything that you normally access in a free world, you won't be able to because you will have to authenticate all the time. And whilst that authenticating process is going on, of course, they are collecting your data. That is the reason for the authentication, is that they're collecting your data and selling it on to government departments, and they've been very honest in this consultation. They've said, yes, it will be shared with the Cabinet Office, with DBS and various other agencies. I think it's DEFRA. But they're not being totally honest because there's stakeholders underpinning all of this. So your data will be sold on to stakeholders in this whole stakeholder capitalist thing that's going on.
Sold on as in money changes hands?
Well, yes, it's actually on the blockchain. It's tokens on the blockchain. It's a different kind of currency that nobody really understands except the techies. And it's currency that is generating tokens on the blockchain where impact investors get their rewards.
Now, I wouldn't have known that this was happening, that this was being proposed, if you hadn't told me.
Yeah.
Why isn't something that is so all-encompassing, it's such a big change, why aren't there information films on the television, round the clock, updating us on this?
They don't want you to know. That's the only reason I can honestly... I mean,
and why would they not want us to know? Because
it's detrimental to our rights and freedoms. That's why. And they don't want us to oppose it. And that's why this is so hidden, this document. This is, for anybody that's watching, it's the consultation on draft legislation to support identity verification. I mean, they couldn't make it longer. So you have to put that in the search engine. And at the end of the day, you've only got a very short window to fill this enormous word salad in, really.
Emma, you had a look at it, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I've filled in government consultation forms like this before for organisations or as an individual, and even just glancing at this before coming to the show today, it's so unnecessarily convoluted. You have to dig through it to find out exactly what they're getting at, what they're proposing, what the purpose of all of this is. It's so confusing that even somebody who has experience in filling in a consultation form like this would probably find it confusing.
Yeah, let alone any sort of normal person who stumbles across it, if they're lucky.
Well, how much of the infrastructure is already there? You talk about facial recognition. In terms of the cameras that will do this all around us, I know they're on the phones and on the screens. Is all there waiting for a green light?
It's all there. The infrastructure is there. And unfortunately, I mean, you may have noticed that in your supermarkets now, the human tills are going and you've got these self-service tills. Well, with those self-service tills comes facial recognition. And all the time, and when you're making those transactions, so they're tracking and tracing everything you buy, where you go out at night, where you drink, what you do. They're tracking your financial transactions. And all that data is available to anyone at the moment, because I mean they'll say, oh no, we're keeping the privacy down, but they haven't actually done a risk assessment of privacy on this.
We've all heard about the Chinese model of surveillance and social credit score. So it's not paranoia, is it? It's not conspiracy theory to say that if there's the will in government to transform this into something whereby your behaviour online can be a mark against you or in your favour, that's not conspiracy theory, is it?
No, it's all the facts are there. And it does seem that, we all know we've all been debt slaves. This is a transition into identity slavery. So that, if you don't have it, and it's changing the economy. This is a form of currency. The digital economy is the circular economy that they're creating is actually a form of currency. So what they will do is you will be given your carbon credits, and when those are done, when you've expired them, maybe you've bought too much, whatever, they don't like meat or whatever. The biometrics in the supermarkets, and there will be biometric doors eventually. That's what Tesco's are looking at the moment. Those doors don't open if your facial recognition links up to your digital ID.
Want to buy some loo paper.
Ingrid,
who knows?
Ingrid,
Depends what the digital footprint, the carbon footprint.
When you listen to this, when you listen to the Brave New World being described, what do you feel?
Oh, I feel absolutely horrified. It seems like sci-fi, that we're sort of like we're part of the sci-fi cast. What they're saying as well, which I find absolutely pathetic, it's all for our convenience.
Yeah.
So we don't have to kind of keep giving the information each and every time. So it's a one, what's it called? The something one stop, whatever it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So once you've done it, it's like, oh, you don't have to think about it ever again. It's all for our convenience. It's such lies.
Same thing with privacy as well, because this is they say it will protect your privacy, but the absolute opposite is true. It's a complete violation.
I need to go to an official line here. The government has launched an open consultation into the draft legislation, and people have until the 1st of March to give their views. Alex Burghardt, who's the Parliamentary Secretary for the Cabinet Office, said this government has made a commitment to improve the way that data and information is shared and used across the public sector to deliver better, joined-up services and exceptional outcomes for our citizens. People often access government services in times of great need, and services must provide the best possible experience for users while maintaining privacy, trust, building confidence. The government is due to publish a response to the consultation May the 24th. Easy when you say it fast.
It is, absolutely. They haven't, unlike the census where they were putting it all out on breakfast television and everything, there's been nothing said about this. They really don't want you to see this. They've made it so complicated. There's 12 questions that are quite loaded to, and it's almost as though they're assuming that you're going along with this,
Sandi, we're going to run out of time. Such an important topic, though. We will come back to it in the days and weeks ahead. There's